Are you coming to the tree where they strung up a man? They say murdered 3. Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met up at midnight in a hanging tree. Are you coming to the tree where the dead man called out for his love to flee? Strange things did happen here, no stranger would it be if we met up at midnight in a hanging tree. Even after reading the book, I still have no idea what the importance that song has in it. And the angry fan should be commenting in 3, 2, showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, my name is David Popovich, aka the Bookworm, and welcome to Bookworm Reviews. Sit back and relax as we conclude with the final book of the Hunger Games trilogy, Mockingjay, by Suzanne Collins. The end is one of the hardest things you can do in a series because there is so much at stake. This is the big one, the last dance, the final hurrah because it's closing time. It's the moment that justifies whether or not you are truly experiencing something great that could define a generation or realize you just wasted 6 years of your life. So when you're like, for example, the biggest thing ever till Star Wars annihilates you, aka the Hunger Games, that can be a lot of pressure. So how does Suzanne Collins conclude her crowning achievement? Let's see. My name is Katniss Everdeen. I am 17 years old. My home is District 12. I was in the Hunger Games. I escaped. The Capitol hates me. Peeta was taken prisoner. He is thought to be dead. Most likely he is dead. It is probably best if he is dead. Thank you for summing up the last 2 books in one paragraph. It makes my job much easier. So after Katniss Everdeen gets brought back into the Quarter Quell Hunger Games in the hopes to stop the rebellion forming in the districts, she discovers at the end that several of the tributes were planning to help her escape behind her back, organized by the once thought of destroyed District 13. But during the escape, Peeta didn't make it out, even though she personally promised herself that he was the one to survive. While she's happy to know her family and Gale are safe, and she's no longer under Snow's ever-present eye, this doesn't make Katniss a happy camper, especially when she learns her district was destroyed. Still, I hate them. But of course, I hate almost everybody now. Myself more than anyone. Oh god, do I say it? Should I say it? It might piss off a lot of fans. Like that's ever stopped me before. So, Katniss is super emo now. Like, more emo than she was in book 1 and 2 combined. Like, if she could, her favorite band would be early Linkin Park, and her favorite movie, The Crow. Jennifer Lawrence as the Crow. That actually sounds kind of interesting. But you can't blame her. She's experienced more death and suffering than most people do in their lifetime. And she's a teenage girl. And Lord knows they go through enough baggage as it is. However, the reason she was rescued in the first place is so she can fully take on the persona of the Mockingjay to rally the districts together to end the Capitol. But this time, I won't have to do it alone. They have a whole team of people to make me over, write me speeches, orchestrate my appearances. As if that doesn't sound horribly familiar. Sadly, the games have not ended for Katniss, which makes her wonder if she can truly live up to the role. How can I help the districts when every time I make a move, it results in suffering and loss of life? Not helping is when it's revealed that Peeta is alive and has become the Capitol's mouthpiece to stop the war. Is this really what we want to do? Kill ourselves off completely in the hopes that, what? Some decent species will inherit the smoking remains of the earth? But it makes Katniss realize what she must do to finally put an end to these games. I'm going to be the Mockingjay. And that's the basic plot. So does it end well? Yeah. There's a lot about this book I enjoyed. For one, the love triangle is gone. There are barely any moments with Gale that felt like he was Team Jacob. And we finally get an in-depth look at how the games have damaged Katniss. But it also finally gives Katniss the chance to see that her actions have given her something she thought she never had. Power. I have a kind of power I never knew I possessed. Snow knew it as soon as I held out those berries. Plutar knew when he rescued me from the arena. And Coin knows now, so much so that she must publicly remind her people that I am not in control. Which leads to another of my favorite parts of the book, its ambiguity. The first two were pretty black and white. Capital bad, Katniss good. Though the coded text of making the bad guys more effeminate while the good guys more masculine does open its own can of worms, but other people have discussed the topic in depth and we don't have the time. In Mockingjay, Suzanne does the smart thing by revealing slowly that while the rebels of District 13 are working for the same cause, that doesn't mean they are the good guys, which both the Capitol uses. Ask yourself, do you really trust the people you're working with? Do you really know what's going on? And if you don't, find out. And Katniss truly doubts, especially since the leader of the rebels, Coin, is playing her own game with Katniss. The truth is, I don't trust the rebels, or Plutar, or Coin. A game for the throne. I love this. It gives the book new weight as you truly wonder how this will end. Cause by the way it's set up, it will either end in utter tragedy or some serious sacrifices are going to be made. And for a YA novel, it does not hold back. Respect, girl. However, if you see my other reviews, you know my biggest hangup with the series is that I feel the books have some terrible world building. It's more focused on the big events happening now, which does give the book a fast-paced read, but I like stories that also take the time to explore and explain how this world got to be what it is today. Not a quick PowerPoint, and man does it pull some real bull. Like at one point, we are told how Snow was able to get into power that makes sense within context of the story, and instead we are given the Cliff Notes version. Why would you tease me like that? Why? Then there are the deaths. This book features some of the most gruesome deaths in the entire series, some of which are done to major characters, but I never felt anything about it. Mainly because most were characters that were introduced in the book just so that they can die, and all the major ones were by supporting characters that I barely cared for because the moments happened so fast. You're a fast-paced book, I get it. But when you are having something as big as a major character making a heroic sacrifice, please give it the weight it deserves. Especially if that death should have an effect on other characters that we never see the aftermath of. There is only one time the quick deaths work, and anyone who's read the book knows which character I talk about. This has been a general problem I've had with the series. There's a lot of death in the books, but it doesn't mean anything to me. And it should. The whole thing is about kids killing themselves for entertainment, but I don't care. Why? Because Katniss barely cares. Throughout the series, she's only looking out for herself and the people she cares about, and that is a very small list. Over time, the list does grow, but even then, we don't learn too much about a lot of characters, because we are stuck inside her head with her problems, and she doesn't look into others' lives, which makes me feel like Janice in accounting, because I don't give a fuck. And like always, I must reiterate, I like these books. I see what makes them so entertaining. This is a very solid series of books with a good metaphor, a fast-paced story, and a great female hero that, when she's given the chance, can truly soar. Fire is catching! I am shouting now, determined that he will not miss a word. And if we burn, you burn with us! Mockingjay is a good conclusion for the series, one where Collins doesn't cop out to give everyone a traditional happy ending, but at least an optimistic one. Which leads us to a first for Bookworm Reviews, the franchise review, where I answer whether or not a book series is worth your time and which are the best and worst entries in the series. For best, I have to go with Mockingjay, mainly for its ambiguity, blurring the lines between good and evil when fighting in a war. For worst, I have to say Catching Fire, due to a forced love triangle which takes up more time in the book than it should, and a disappointing ending that never felt like it reached its climax. Overall, this series is worth your time. I wish it took more time to explore the world more, but it's still a good read for what it is. There's a reason these books caught on, and it does deserve your time. What about you, Internet? What's your opinion about Mockingjay and the Hunger Games trilogy? If you have a book you would like me to review, let me know in the comments below. Now, while I wait the fangirls to call me an idiot, join me next week as we go on the hunt for eggs. You think I'm kidding, don't you? I'm not. Till next time, have a nice day.